Again, weren't you supposed to reread or tell a story that you didn't tell in the last UCA?
Well, I was, but I'd kind of feel bad telling it if Alan wasn't here. Because
Yeah.
I kind of promised Alan, because it's a pirate story, like I told Alan, and I did completely sketch as everybody probably predicted I would. Let's be honest. But listen, next time Alan is on the show, I will finish the story about the history of chocolate milk.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't finish. I didn't even start. Let's be honest. This is one of those things I know about because of all the absurd history I've read about specifically the era of Buccaneers. I guess it has to do with a sick pirate.
Let's start with in that case with another story. What story are we reading, David?
Well, first of all, hey everybody, I am David,
yes.
as Kaela is apt to point out, and that is Kaela.
Hi, I'm Kaela.
And it's been a little bit, but here's our good friend Abysmii.
What's
I don't know, the ceiling.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here because Slimebeast has appeared, except he's not here like he has been before. He is with us in spirit. Or at least with text on a page. Basically, this is new. Slimebeast contacted me out of nowhere, not out of nowhere. He just lurks. He does, and
Slimebeast wrote a note and tied it to a brick and threw it through your window.
Like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, I and rather than ask him to fix the window, I decided to read it. I don't know. This is kind of weird. This is as far as I know, this is a previously unpublished Slimebeast story.
Ooh.
Which he has shared with us, basically citing the fact that he is a patron and saying, I've given you enough money at this point, read my story. And I'm like, and he finished his message with GL nerd.
Good luck.
Yep.
I've made it even more difficult to read than usual. That's a lie. His stories are pretty accessible.
Accessible and usually pretty succinct. Like they never overstay their welcome. They do a thing. Yeah. They present an idea and then they're over.
This is actually a good title. Local legend or when to go with a gun. I now know
I'm a little disappointed we didn't call it Wendigun, but
the legend of the Wendigun.
The local legend of the
That's
Wendigun.
My first footnote. Call it Wendigun and you're all set.
Yeah, we're gonna do track changes on this and just make it bleed.
It's like, here you go. Send it back to Slime.
I think that's the best feed. Yeah, we're just gonna go through and just change anything at reference to Wendigo to just Wendigun. It sets it up. Anyway, that's all the notes I have. I think we can send it back to him now.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for joining us for this episode of okay.
Probably should read it.
There is a little more. I scrolled down more. I thought it was just the words local legend or when to go with a gun and then the author credit, but no, there's more. All right. Yeah, I guess it's time to do the breakdown of who's going to do what, I think. Leonard Sky was a bit of a local celebrity in the absurdly small town where I grew up.
I like you just jumped in there.
Yeah, I had to fill the silence somehow.
Well, you said, if you're going to say what's the reading order, you basically have to set it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I did. I did partially. Abysmii, you go next.
Hunter, survivalist, general man's man, Leonard was both respected and feared. You would never catch him wearing anything other than jeans, a t-shirt, and flannel. The silver ring that hung on a string around his neck drove everyone crazy with gossip. Had he been secretly married in another town over? Did it belong to his sainted mother who died in childbirth? Some more whimsical residents suspected he had a vision somewhere in the deep forest, and the jewelry was for his future soulmate.
Yep, neat little details.
The area spinsters were crazy about him, behaving like a human conveyor belt of baked goods delivered routinely to his door. Pies, cakes, and even the occasional loaf of banana bread from old lady Guthrie.
Best old lady
banana bread. Marry me, please.
Dude, banana bread is great. And Kaela makes a mean banana bread.
I haven't made banana bread in years.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
I just haven't thought to... Because, usually I would have a bunch of bananas and then have a little bit extra that would go bad. But now I've been better about it. Some were clearly too old for him. Others were awkwardly young. At the end of the day, none of them seemed to be a good fit, and he remained a bachelor. Does this feel kind of like when I heard his description?
Can you describe young suitors as spinsters, though?
Not young ones, no. Well, yeah, at least I don't think so.
Yeah, that's odd.
Well, it said the area Spencer is not young. Oh, well.
Yeah, but some of them were awkwardly young for him. So I
Is
don't know.
this guy is that this guy must be like a centurion. He's 100 years old. Awkwardly young is like 60 or 70, but way too old is like 132.
Leonard feels like when I read it, I just felt like, oh, this is clearly Gaston, right?
This is just Leonard Nimoy under a different title, right?
Leonard Nimoy, Wendigo Hunter.
Hey, I mean, he did host In Search Of for a while, so
That's true. That's true.
All right, it's your turn, David.
Yes, we're back around to me. When the local Cub Scout troop wanted to spend a night in the woods and do some real camping, Leonard was the first guy to call. The den mothers swooned as he ordered the kids into some wooded property, keeping them in a regimented and obedient line. Some of the kids were horrified when he killed a rabbit and served it to them over a campfire that night, but most of it thought it was awesome. Sounds about right.
Swooned as he ordered the kids into some wooded property.
Leonard, I just love the idea that Leonard walks down the street and everybody turns to look at him. Some of them faint dramatically, just like, this guy is...
This is definitely small town if most of the kids are like, cool, he killed a rabbit.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So, as you can imagine, losing a local hero like Leonard came as a big shock to the community. One day, he went out bear hunting. Okay. The next, he didn't return. Day 2, day 3, and 4, no sign of Leonard Sky. His home remained locked. Hunting magazines piled up in his mailbox.
I was there where they held Leonard's funeral. His body was never found. Whoa.
Cool.
The grizzled old men insisted the bears had eaten them all. The teary-eyed girls insisted it couldn't be true. Still, we buried it in... Oh, and empty. Found a typo already.
Slimebeast. Over. Done. I'm over it. Fuck.
We buried and empty coffin. No, an empty.
We buried and empty coffin.
We buried an empty coffin in a county-owned park beneath a tree, almost as huge and hardy as the man's legacy.
So, local legend becomes a different kind of local legend. He's a Wendigo with a hunting rifle.
Is it just me?
Maybe.
Is it just me, or does this? This almost has a campfire-y sort of storytelling. Right now.
Yeah. I could see this being told at like Camp Crystal Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've decided to stop. Like, well, did you hear the one? Oh my God, Mr. Ragnar. We've heard so much about fucking Jason. Can we talk about something else?
But he was so cool. He never ate my banana bread.
Look, Miss Guthrie. We get old lady Guthrie. Why is old lady Guthrie a camp counselor now? Why does she only give us banana bread?
What else is she going to do?
She's retired, so she's volunteered as a camp counselor.
Look, this camp's already changed names like 6 times already. Can we just get a different story? Did I ever tell you about the Wendigo with a gun?
If you don't eat the banana bread, the Wendigo will shoot you in your sleep.
And then he'll take your banana bread and eat it himself, because some people actually appreciate my banana bread.
Not Leonard, though. Not Leonard.
Mm.
Oh my God, she killed him.
Oh, what if old lady Guthrie's...
Damn.
She poisoned the banana bread.
And then ate him and became a Wendigo with the gun.
Yeah, calling it now. Lady Guthrie did it.
That would be a good twist. Let's see.
I don't know why I called her Lady Guthrie. That's not whatever. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean,
Lady Guthrie of the Montana Guthries. You know, Leonard's absence was felt in almost every aspect of small town life. Froggy's General Store kept stocking his favorite beer for months after he was gone, even though no one else could stomach it. The Riverview Diner had a reserved table for him, and the last ketchup bottle he used stood there, untouched and half full for a year or more. If I recall correctly, a trucker who was passing through sat himself down when the diner was busy and desecrated the monument for his cheeseburger and onion rings. The fat bastard.
And then he died.
The town killed him. No, this town is a little too obsessed with this guy. Like,
I mean, I'm suddenly thinking of the bit from fucking Food Fight where Christopher Lloyd's character awkwardly shambles into the store and goes, "You must be Leonard."
I can it's believable though, because like small town, like real small town, there's nothing going on.
That's true. I mean, if there's a small town with a store called Froggy's General Store, it's got to be under 500.
I kind of love it.
This also feels very kind of like in the not so distant past, but maybe before the internet, because we've had no mention of more modern technology or the internet or anything.
This feels like something. Yeah, every time I'm reading this, I kept thinking, "Oh, this is clearly in the past. It's not. This doesn't feel modern." So
feels timeless in a way. Very Americana, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm waiting to hear the ending because who knows? Maybe it turns out there's a twist. Who knows?
There usually is. It's never just on the surface,
No one was more affected by the disappearance than my boss, Waylon Faircloth. That is a crazy name if I've ever heard it.
I kind of love it.
Waylon Faircloth.
Seriously. He owned a gun shop smack dab in the heart of town, and I had taken a job there with the hope of using his gun range to try out every weapon I could get my hands on. As it turned out, however, Waylon was incredibly strict, and I ended up doing nothing but cleaning, stocking, and handling customers when the boss was otherwise engaged.
I focused my discontent by wondering which would take over first, his broom of a mustache or his embarrassing amount of ear hair. I can imagine that too.
Yeah.
I've seen people like that and you're like, oh.
Get an ear trimmer, dude. They're not expensive.
No. Waylon had been a star football player in high school. That tracks. They called him Waylon and would egg him on whenever he physically accosted rival mascots on the field.
Awesome.
When I met him, though, he was an older man with a pronounced limp and a cane that unscrewed to reveal a wicked skinning knife.
Awesome.
Damn. He inherited the gun shop from his father, who had gotten it from his father, and so on. I think that, even if he hadn't been injured during a game, Waylon still wouldn't have been able to escape the town and his heritage.
That's always the case with small towns, or it's usually the case with small towns, unfortunately.
Trapped in the town forever and ever.
Back office of the gun shop was like a shrine to Leonard Sky. Newspaper clippings, photos of the forest where he disappeared, articles about strange animal sightings in the area. Should be like an and there or something. It was a wall of crazy, and I was honestly surprised there were no thumbtacks or strings connecting the scraps together in a conspiracy chart. That is a great sentence. It was a wall of crazy.
How many people have actually done that? I know that's like the whole Kaiser Soze thing made it popular, but is that really a thing at this point?
I can't imagine anyone does it with physical media anymore, because it'd be so much easier just to digitally arrange all that. So I don't know.
Especially the only people I can imagine doing this to is like a private eye and even then, like, you're right. I think they would do it as a digital media.
Yeah. I will say it. There's programs out there that emulate modular synthesizers, which you do connect with cables. And because they're digital, you can just have like as many you want on the screen, and they're all just connected with wires. So it always just reminds me of that whenever I see those conspiracy charts.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, is this about Mr. Sky? I stupidly asked when I first saw the wall.
Whoa! Whoa! I like it. I like the voice.
I imagine this is like in the Midwest, but for some reason our bro tag is very much a California surfer bro.
Whoa! Watched too many Hollywood movies.
I was brought up a 921.
Waylon looked up from his shabby bug-eaten wooden desk. Oh, yep. Tell me, kid. A man like that, best hunter I ever saw, lived and breathed wilderness. How the hell does someone like that let a fucking brown bear get the best of him? Don't make sense.
Okay, brown bears will fuck you up. I don't care how cool you are.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. You could be... I mean, this guy could make people swoon just by looking at them, but a brown bear probably looked at them and went, eh.
I really feel like it's Gaston now.
It does, right?
Yeah.
I'm like reading this, so I'm like, this is just Gaston.
Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Leonard.
Lying so dead in the dirt.
How did a fucking brown bear get the best of you? It doesn't make any sense.
No one's dead like Leonard. And then that's it.
Lost his head like Leonard.
has gone missing and is still swooned by the ladies' gunner. Old Lady Guthrie might be the main suspect.
And then it cuts to him for his line, but his body's just there. Nothing happens.
Some leaves blow over it.
I nodded, half agreeing with him, half concerned with upsetting an elder, and half worried I might get fired if I didn't believe him. Doesn't make sense, I repeated.
Oh, I didn't realize he worked at the gun shop.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wanted to like shoot all the weapons.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
I must have missed.
It's all good.
It was Lee that suggested looking for Leonard's remains. Who the fuck is Lee?
We're about to find out. Lee was a beast of a girl.
Oh my
6
God, it's
foot
the beast.
It really, wow, maybe
the beast of Yucca Flats.
this actually might be Beauty and the Beast. Holy
Oh
shit.
my. Lee was a beast of a girl, 6 foot plus, strong as an ox. Many years after Waylon was the talk of the school, Lee rose to fame as an aggressive and unforgiving volleyball champion. She too had a fall from grace that prevented her from pursuing a career in sports. Her handicap was a blonde cheerleader named Mirabelle and the bitchy classmates who spread a compromising photo of them in the locker room after a game. Ooh. Yikes.
Mr. Faircloth is like Leonard Sky's #1 fan.
This really is a California guy.
Yeah.
I had mentioned Lee and I were watching college football over a pizza. Two 20-somethings with their ankles caught in the bear trap of small town purgatory.
Oh
Nice.
my gosh, pizza sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good line too, by the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that.
Do you want to order pizza after this?
I think that doesn't sound so bad. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. They think it's you.
Oh, they ever organize a search party or what? She asked.
I don't know. I folded a slice of pizza and stuffed my face.
I don't really have a voice for this character,
That's fine.
for Lee. I don't want to give her just the manly voice.
No, you kind of gave her a little bit of a twang, southern twang, because again, small town.
It's your turn, Abby.
Oh, my turn. Cops around here are lazy as shit, Lee mused. Remember a while back when that lady got killed up the highway? Family came by to leave a wreath on the spot, and they found her purse in a sticker bush. Police ain't even looking for shit.
Drunk and partially stoned, the two of us hatched a plan. The next day, we approached Waylon and floated the idea of going out to where Leonard disappeared and seeing what we could find. It had been so long at that point that at most we could realistically expect to find bones or tattered cloth. Maybe we could spot the ring if we had eagle eyes and the sunlight caught it just right.
Hey, you guys want to see a dead body? Stand By Me starts. To say Waylon was a fan of the idea would be an understatement. He already had maps prepared. An almost gleeful glint shone in his otherwise cloudy eyes as he started pulling out guns and provisions. Lee and I exchanged a smirk. Waylon had been living quietly for this moment, and no one had even thought to ask.
Now that I don't really believe.
Mhm.
You think, yeah, I was going to say if he's as big a fan of Leonard as we thought, he would have been out there already.
Yeah.
Getting a search party, probably multiple monthly search parties organized, is what I would expect of this town as it has been described thus far.
Yeah, apparently this town adores him to the point that a diner will leave out a half bottle, a bottle of ketchup that his lips last touched or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're as obsessed with this guy as they say, I think more would have been done. But sure.
Mm-hmm.
Our silly little hunting party would have been fine with 3 people. When the bell above the front door of the shop rang, we were all prepared to ignore the customer. Just get out there. Should be just to get out there. Still, Waylon's better judgment took over, and he gestured for me to go see who was there.
It was Zach Baggins.
I
Hey, do you guys
heard
want to
that-
hear about my new book?
I heard that this town's haunted.
I
No one
heard
said
there's a
that,
Wendigo
Zach.
with a gun. I've decided to call it Wendigun. We've been calling it Wendigun. Yeah, but I came up with it. No, you didn't. He writes on a napkin. Yes, I did.
Colt, the loon who claimed to be part Native American, part Mexican, and more depending on who he happened to be talking to at the time.
Oof.
I feel like I've met people like this.
Yeah.
His family history was too much of a crossing mess to make heads or tails of his claims. He came into the shop now and then, mostly to browse and start arguments about politics, never to buy anything.
Sorry, Colt. We're about to go do some stuff, I said, poking my head out the office door.
Colt! Waylon shouted suddenly. He pushed past me and waited for the wiry, underfed non-customer to join us. You're a native. We could use a tracker.
Oh
Shit.
my God.
Fuck me.
If Waylon starts insisting that Colt call him Kimosabi, I'm gonna like throw a fit.
Oh boy.
I gritted my teeth and felt my eyebrows raise in response to Waylon's blunt statement. Colt, however, just seemed happy to be included and quickly asked what we were up to. I guess he really just wanted to fit in with people.
I think this town is just full of whiteys.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
Volleyball
like the
champions, mountain men.
Froggy's Diner.
Yeah.
Or Froggy's Bar.
The local ice cream shop that every single teenager has worked at some point.
Every single one. And they've all worn the same. Don't get different ones. They all have to wear the same like little peaked paper cap that the owner had back in the 1930s.
Hasn't been washed since.
Nope. It's me, right?
Yeah.
Over the next hour or so, Waylon drew up plans, issued orders, and then took them all back when problems became apparent. By the 5th or 6th draft, we had a solid course of action.
Waylon would administrate, naturally. Since he was, as he put it, crippled up like an old dog, I would be his arms and legs. I'd carry provisions and gear. Lee was more than capable of clearing brush and removing hazards. If we came across a rabid radioactive raccoon, she'd take a rock to its head in an instant. Colt would be there to read the land, supposedly. But I have a feeling he'd mostly concern himself with getting worked up about the government and who really pulls the strings.
Oh, this guy's a tinfoil hat person.
Oh, I love it.
Hell yeah.
These are some interesting characters, I will say.
Yeah, it's a nice little cavalcade.
Yeah.
As of right now, for the most part, I'm intrigued by this story. I think I have an idea what happened because of the title, but who knows?
This feels like a tall tale about a tall tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of there for that. That's cool.
Because when I first read it, it's like this kind of has a campfire story sort of feel, and yeah, it is a local legend.
Yeah.
It helps that it's being told first person. I'm still picturing this. I'm still picturing the camp counselor talking to the kids, and they're bored because one of them just flipped it, looking at their phone. One of them is like, when are we gonna go inside and play Fortnite?
Again, I think this was from I can't imagine this being modern. But then again, small towns tend to be like 20 years behind, like very small towns like this.
I think Miss Guthrie is still the one telling it. And then there was a woman, and she was a lesbian because she played volleyball. And then there was a half Native American, half Mexican man who came in through the door, and everyone's just like tuning this shit out.
She's just gonna keep talking, isn't she? Just let her.
Oh my God.
It's better. It's either that or eat her banana bread.
Anyway, who wants my banana bread?
We want to hear more of the story. Eventually she'll fall asleep.
The spot lady, let's be honest, old lady Guthrie is probably the best character
so far. Yeah, no, for sure.
The spot where Leonard Sky entered this tree line was no secret. There had been a meeting about closing the path off to the public due to the danger, but in the end, it felt disrespectful to someone who encouraged everyone to camping out at least once in their life.
We left in the early morning hours. Surprisingly, no one was late. I showed up last, even though I had made sure to arrive 10 minutes before the agreed time. Everyone had a different idea of search and rescue attire. Waylon was wrapped up in layers with a fur-lined coat. Lee had already tied her shirt around her tree trunk waist. Her black sports bra required for nothing other than modesty. Colt was wearing a fringed leather jacket and a ludicrous hat with a pheasant feather.
Oh my God.
This is... Okay. Can I get this miniseries? This sounds awesome.
This is a motley crew.
This is great.
I dig it.
It wasn't exactly legal for us to be carrying Waylon's guns, but Lee was right. The police were nothing to be afraid of unless you were an out-of-towner who might pay their way out of a citation.
We trudged through the harsh overgrowth. Our spirits started high. We were excited to become a part of the legend, even if none of us realized it at the time.
Foreshadowing.
Those spirits slowly dimmed, however, with every cut and bruise that marked our bodies. Wait, those spirits slowly dimmed, however, with every cut and bruise that marked our bodies. Okay, yeah. I just read that weirdly. It's not him. The thickening tree canopy and a gloom of archaic forest also did well to bring a growing sense of doom. As things came into focus, we each separately realized we were treading on the ground where a very real man had met a very real death.
And a very real search party had actually come through ages before, I'm sure. Just saying, like, again,
if people are really obsessed with this guy, maybe it's probably the fact it does contribute to the fact if this is supposed to be a tall tale, but the town being this obsessed with the one person.
Well, I mean, again, you talk about football stars.
Yeah.
Bring glory to our high school or else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was late afternoon when we came to a clearing. We had circled and weaved through the area, carefully following Waylon's plans and to the very detail. If there had been anything to find, we would have discovered it. No question.
It wasn't exactly legal for us to be carrying Waylon's guns, but Lee was right. The police were nothing to be afraid of unless you were an out-of-towner who might pay their way out of a citation.
I think you're at
Did I already do that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you read
right. Okay, yeah.
And then I think wasn't it Kaela did the harsh overgrowth.
Then
yeah,
you read
I have Lee's line now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What if he ran away from it all? Lee mused as we reached the center of the clearing.
I dropped my backpack and rubbed my aching shoulders. Colt sat down on the log and brushed the angry termites from his lap rather than get on his tired feet again. Okay. See, this is termites. Jeez. Okay. For the most part, when people talk about like camping, I've never did a long like hardcore camping by myself, and for the most part, like the typical things like enjoying nature, sleeping in a tent, I'm okay with. Bugs though are the one thing that always
Yeah, same.
I don't know, I just struggle with bugs for some reason. I think it's because every time there's a place that has not termites, mosquitoes, I just get eaten alive by them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've had bad luck there. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, for sure.
That sounds possible. I cleared a gnat out of my throat with a cough.
Oh God.
Small town. Everyone knows each other. Is someone like him so important to everyone? It'd be easier to just disappear one night and say goodbye. No one would let him go.
Waylon, refusing to rest, thrust the point of his cane into the log, breaking away rotted splinters and causing Colt to jump.
He would never leave like that. Wow, Jesus.
I dig it.
Waylon's sister, never. He loved this place, and this place loved him. Sneaking away in the night, that's a coward's way. I'll thank you not to speak ill of the dead. God forbid if...
Kidnapping, Colt added. I guarantee you, he knew too much. Saw something you shouldn't have. Look at that clearing. Could set a black helicopter down there. Easy. Zip, zip. You're in and out before anyone knows you're here.
I rolled my eyes and bent down to pick up my pack. Crack! A gunshot. Oh shit, it's the Wendigun.
It's the Wendigun!
Oh, we finally got to the Wendigun. I felt the sudden breeze of a bullet as it moved past my head. If I hadn't ducked at that exact moment for the sole reason of getting my pack, I would have been killed instantly.
Oh,
damn.
Fuck! Lee shouted.
Dumb son of a bitch, Waylon growled, waving his hand and hobbling in a circle as if trying to signal whoever had shot from the tree line. Do we look like a fucking herd of deer? Crack.
This is getting good. Okay, I'm gonna keep...
Yeah.
Everyone jumped in shock as a second gunshot rang out. Instantly, we knew it wasn't a mistake anymore. Someone had tried to kill me.
Well, shit.
It's the Wendigun.
Finally, we get our Wendigun. Colt doubled over slowly, stomping forward and dropping from the log with a sprawling thud. Blood instantly started pooling around his head. A sickening spurt of crimson gushed from fresh hole in the back of his partially exposed skull. Yake!
Oof. Jesus Christ, Waylon screamed in horror. He was stupefied, staring at Colt's body as it violently twitched on the grass.
Yike.
Leah and I flanked him, kinky, each grabbing an arm as we hurried him off his feet and ushered him to the ground behind the log. Behind the log. My brain was so on the kinky thing. Well, I know what he means by like.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh man, that's all good. Stay down. Lee snapped. It's not a hunter. It's not a hunter.
Colt was right, I whispered. Colt was right, I whispered, a cold chill tinkling on my back and raising the hair on my scalp. It's the goddamn government.
Yes, the government.
Oh my God.
Your fashion sense is terrible. Crack.
That pheasant was ugly.
Crack. Waylon shook his head and blinked a few times. Oh, wait.
It's my turn.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Bitch. Waylon shook his head and blinked a few times. Either he was coming out of shock or he was in a sort of shock that dulled his sense of fear.
We're in a bad spot, he stammered. Laid out behind rotten firewood. That motherfucker is already creeping up on us, I guarantee it. Soon as he gets a good angle, we're dead.
What'd we do? I croaked, dread quickly closing my throat.
Lee lifted her shotgun and checked if it was still loaded, as if that would have changed at some point.
Taking her cue, Waylon dug the fancy yet mostly useless revolver from his thick jacket.
With shaking hands, I lifted my hunting rifle and cocked it, ejecting a perfectly good bullet out of the chamber. Waylon gave me a side-eyed glance, but didn't call me on the thoughtless mistake. Lol.
Nice detail.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh. Prepared to face our would-be killer, but still filled with fear, the fear of our own mortality, we each waited for someone else to make the first move. There was no plan, not anymore. I didn't know if we were going to fire at the mystery man or if we'd make a run for it. I didn't know in which direction we were supposed to run.
Now, Lee shouted, sliding herself out from beside the log and firing 2 rapid shots into something I couldn't see.
Waylon fumbled a bit, pulling himself up over the log, following suit with 6 wild pulls of the trigger.
Once again, I was the last one. I peeked carefully over the log, focusing my vision down the scope of my rifle, of Waylon's rifle, technically speaking. I saw what they shot at.
Ooh, here we go. Through the scope lens, I saw the dark, human-like form standing in the clearing, about 30 feet away. It was tall, thin, draped in the fetid pelts of random animals. The rot-flecked skull of a buck, an 8-pointed trophy to be sure, sat over his head like a twisted helmet.
Cool.
What the fuck?
Ooh.
In its hands, a rusted, weather-worn rifle with mangy tails tied around the barrel. The thing fired again, taking out a chunk of the log as Lee rolled away and into the open.
I like the detail about having the skull because that's such a like modern thing about the Wendigo is having it have antlers.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the detail. That's
wait. It's the skull of a buck. Oh,
yeah, it's a buck skull is sitting on top of this person's head.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah,
a good twist on the Wendigo.
If it is a Wendigo, it might not even be supernatural.
I have eye centered, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking, the thing fire, and I miss. I fired. I missed again.
I woke up. I had a dream I was eating a popsicle. Woke up. I fired. I missed.
I centered my shot and pulled the trigger, sending a bullet directly through the left eye socket of the skull with a spray of black mist. Don't get me wrong. It was a very lucky shot.
Nat 20 on that roll.
Yeah. I know it's your lowest score, but give it a roll. Nat 20.
The creature reeled back from the impact, but didn't seem to be in pain. I studied it in awe, surveying its awkward, gnarled body through the scope. It is supernatural.
Then I saw the ring, a silver ring, suspended by string worn around the beast's neck. Guys, I swallowed hard. It's him. It's him. The ring.
The Elden Ring.
Timely reference.
We could have done a Lord of the Rings ring joke, but
it's been there, done that. It's all about the Elden Ring now.
Yeah.
Waylon instantly yanked the rifle away from me and bounced it on the log, pressing his own eye to the lens. I watched, confused as a tear beaded up in the wrinkles at the corner of his eye and slowly rolled down his spotted cheek. Oh no!
Just never meet your heroes. This is really what this is all about.
Yeah.
Within seconds, Waylon was crying. Loud, halting sounds of choked sadness from his chest and escaped from his between his gritted. There's something weird about this.
Well, read it again real quick.
Loud, halting sounds of choked sadness rose from his chest and escaped from between his gritted teeth.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? Lee asked as Waylon dropped the rifle and stood, as best he could, in full view of the monster.
Get down, I insisted, tucking at his pant leg, only to be weakly kicked away.
Yeah.
Waylon sat over the log, pushing himself to the other side, then wobbled toward the creature, leaning on his unsteady cane that was digging into the soil.
Oh, wow.
Lee and I could only watch as the creature once again leveled its weapon. Wait, the creature's still alive?
Yeah, it didn't die.
Oh, okay. Leveled its weapon, this time taking aim at the old man's face. Waylon reached into his coat, pulling something from behind his collar.
I caught a glimpse of the object Waylon held as the light danced across it. A ring, a second silver ring on a necklace.
Huh.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
The creature stood stock still. It didn't move an inch, didn't lower its gun. Lenny, Waylon called out, his voice racked with grief. My God, Lenny, what happened to you?
Oh.
The monster, Leonard Sky, dropped its long, lean arms to its side as Waylon came close and threw his arms around it. I couldn't hear properly at that distance, but I really think Waylon apologized for not looking for him sooner. I think looking back on it, that he was always afraid of what he would find, though no one would have expected this.
The creature raised a hand to the old man's head and in a slow, thoughtful motion stroked his hair. This took a turn.
I did not expect it to get gay, but here we are.
Well, this would be the second reference to LGBT. Lee and I jumped as Waylon pulled his skinning knife from his cane. He thrust it into the creature's gut and pulled upward, spilling its dead insides on the ground. Damn.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Bye, Leonard. There was a piercing cry of pain, but it came from Waylon.
Ooh, damn.
The creature threw Waylon aside with tremendous strength, sending him flying into a cluster of half-buried stones with a crack. It stepped forward, raising its gun again, only to collapse under its own weight, its soiled feet tied up in its own entrails. Oh! I enjoyed that imagery.
That was cool. In moments, the thing was motionless, dead. As Lee and I gathered the courage to approach, guns at the ready, we discovered nothing more than a pile of exposed meat and bone. I hate funerals.
I hate funerals. Leonard's Sky's ceremony seemed like ages ago. The distant past. In retrospect, it was easier to bury a coffin with no one in it. Waylon and Colt were a different story. We had to tell everyone that they got into a physical fight over Colt's conspiracy theories, that Waylon shot him in the chaos. The recoil from the gunshot toppled Waylon, who was always so unsure on his feet, causing him to smack his head on a rock.
Aw, shit.
Damn.
It was the best two scared dumbasses could think of on the way back. It was the best, probably that. It was the best that two scared dumbasses could think of on the way back to town.
Nice.
And no one's going to question it because the police are inept, which has been previously established.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It felt really bad lying to their families, tarnishing the reputations of dead men. But then again, reputation didn't do much for Leonard Sky in the end. The man everyone loved. The man who loved someone he could never admit to. Oh, damn. At least someone knows the truth.
You can.
Should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The legend will live forever, but the man is finally at rest.
So he ran away from society because he couldn't handle the truth about himself and dressed up as a Wendigo?
Or he actually became a Wendigo. Like, I'm getting the impression he literally, because the way they're describing it is this thing is still like, this thing is undead.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Leonard Sky just went hunting and then got turned into a Wendigo.
That would explain also why he was perceived as a bachelor too, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he went out hunting, had something bad happen to him out in the woods. He became Wendigo. And I guess the important part is that
the only thing that hold on, let me scroll up. I feel like the one thing I would have liked is Waylon to be in the story earlier, at least.
Yeah.
Just so it like we can really see how obsessed Waylon was with Leonard.
Well, I do like the turn that it goes from like beyond hero worship to realizing that these two were probably lovers.
Yeah,
like I think that's a good beat.
That's fine. It's just the reveal is very sudden.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some foreshadowing. I wanted to strike that balance because like I for me personally, I think it's fine because it didn't feel as sudden for me. But then again, I don't know. Like everything before it kind of made sense. And I think what works is when you don't quite see it. I don't know.
you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't on this. Like if you over explain it, you kind of run the risk of someone saying you didn't need to put that in there. But I feel like we're fairly on the ball about these stories, and even I'm like a little kind of like, oh wait, so he was a Wendigo, but that has nothing to do with the fact that he was gay. That's entirely different, and that kind of just makes the whole Wendigo thing like, was that necessary?
Maybe
I don't know.
I mean, the Wendigo thing is I mean, there's some neat images involved too with the Wendigo, and at the certain point, the Wendigo thing becomes almost an afterthought in the relation of like the reveal of what's the relationship between these two men, or this man and this horrible monster now.
Well,
Beauty and the Beast situation.
Well, how did the Wendigo okay, there's a way people become Wendigos.
Wendigos
right?
are cannibal spirits.
Yeah.
Usually they manifest in the winter, according to the legends, when because of the conditions, someone is forced to cannibalize someone else. And usually they're possessed to do it by a Wendigo spirit. That's the idea.
Okay. Yeah, the Wendigo part kind of feels.
And
it never says specifically that he's a Wendigo. Remember, Wendigo with a gun is an alternate title. We don't know necessarily what he is.
But it does say, hold on, how is
they never refer to him even once as a Wendigo in the story, except for in the title.
But even if they didn't, even if the alternate title was not there, I would have thought Wendigo because of how he's described.
Yeah, because of the antlers and everything, and the animal pelts.
And like we were told beforehand that everyone thought he was killed by a bear, which is enough. Again, do we need the Wendigo thing? Like, I don't know.
Did the alternate title just being funny kind of just get us in the wrong mindset?
Or is it Slimebeast poking fun at No Sleep because, oh my God, I think it is, because so much of No Sleep is just also there's a Wendigo.
Well,
this is actually a love story, and also there's a Wendigo.
I'm reading it right now. It's
a tragic love story.
It doesn't seem like he is a Wendigo. It was a tall, thin, draped in the fetid pelts of random animals, and then he has a rot-flecked skull of a buck and 8-pointed trophy, to be sure, sat over his head like a twisted helm. Yeah, I think the idea is they're calling him I think Wendigo is just the title that Slimebeast is giving him because he's dressed like one and he's kind of gone a little nutso.
If you're genre savvy, you can definitely pick that up. But also the fact that he didn't die when he got shot in the eye and like kept going. And when he got stabbed in the gut with the skinning knife, he just basically collapsed into a pile of meat and bone. Like he almost like dissolved.
Yeah.
I get the impression that there was a walking corpse, or at least something barely held together underneath there. Some sort of creature that might have been that was Leonard Sky at one point.
So it is still supernatural.
That's how I feel, at least, you know.
I think Slimebeast wanted to poke fun and said also it's a Wendigo. That's what it really feels like to me now.
Yeah, it's just I do agree. I feel like it kind of takes a back seat to this reveal.
Right.
But is that the point? Like,
maybe.
I don't know. I think it's I like what it's going for. And I don't mean that you could take what you go from this, but this is very much in Slimebeast's wheelhouse. It reads like a Slimebeast story. He has a specific way of writing, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a Slimebeast story.
It is good. It's still good
writing. Yeah. No, like this is great. I really like our intrepid crew here. I almost wish it was longer, or like there was a part 2, and I rarely say that. or maybe like it started with our group before, like I guess earlier, and there was less backstory. I don't know, but like there's no real fat in this story, so I don't even know how I would kind of. I guess it's a good thing that I'm left with the kind of the wanting of. I wish they could go on another adventure or something.
Yeah, it's kind of it's lean. It's lean enough, and your mileage may vary.
I think, but I do think Wayland probably should have been brought in earlier and made it a little more important.
I agree.
Because I feel like his story had the same amount of length as like Lee's story and Colt's story. So I saw them all as fairly equal. And like, oh yeah, this is just another. He's one of these 4 quirky characters.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out he's more important than we think.
Right.
I like, I'm just, all I'm saying is maybe there's a point where they said Waylon would tell me stories about our local legend Leonard, whatever, or something where Waylon's the one who is said about this. That's
I can
an idea.
also, I don't know, I can also see Slimebeast saying, well, I don't want to lean in too hard on Waylon because I don't want people to think, oh, he had something to do with it. But like, if you started with a mysterious death, everyone's going to start just like wondering, okay, who did it anyway?
Mhm.
So I don't know. Again, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
This is a tricky one.
Yeah.
I do like it. I do like the reveal, and
I just feel like the reveal is, again, I'm with Abby. I'm like, I did not see that coming at all.
It's also like the ending is very like, so they found him. He's a Wendigo. They were lovers. He's dead. Waylon's dead. Colt's dead. Bye. It's just very like, the ending is jam packed.
yeah.
Mhm.
Why
A
didn't
lot happens in 2 sentences.
I guess the main thing to expand is why didn't people go looking for him sooner?
Yeah.
That's a big plot hole. I think it's
Yeah.
just like, well, you set up this town's like idolatry level of obsession with Leonard, and none of them bothered to go look.
Yeah, because like there's the bit where Waylon apologized for not looking for him sooner.
Yeah.
Why? You think
Why?
if
Yeah.
these two were connected this way, like Waylon would be like the one out there, and no matter what people thought, like
Yeah.
Right.
they could just assume like, oh, and I kind of like the assumption that small town logic. Oh, no one worshipped Leonard Sky as much as Waylon, like,
Yeah.
and they just completely are ignorant to the fact that they were in a relationship, or at least they were secretive, closeted about it. But
I feel like there should have been a search earlier, but there should be a reason why. I don't know.
It could even be just like searches were mounted, but nothing was found. And I would earnestly believe that Leonard knew how to not be found and therefore wasn't. But since Waylon was out there and they have a history, then he did come after him. Like it's all set up perfectly fine.
I got a simple one. What if it's like because it seems like he gone missing not too long ago. What if it's one of the reasons they weren't able to go is because it's been snowing and it's winter time?
Oh yeah, that's good.
I mean, going on a bear hunting trip in the winter doesn't seem that odd, especially if you're going to try and like find one hibernating.
Well, and then also Leonard is described as this like manly man who can do anything. So it's
Right.
like only a crazy person would go out bear hunting in the woods during this harsh winter, but not Leonard. And people are, because of like snow conditions, nobody's going to go out and like
shortly after he disappears, the snowpack gets way worse.
Yeah.
No one can go look
Yeah.
for him until like the spring, and by that point, it's already too late.
they feel it's
They
like,
comb the woods, but they can't find him, or they just give him up for dead.
or maybe it's already just started to be spring, and these fours like, what if it's like, hey, should we go looking for him now? It seems like this would be the right time.
Yeah, there's a lot Slimebeast could do with this.
Yeah. It's a solid draft, though. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, no, seriously, not a lot to kind of clean up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Couple typos here and there, but that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my main complaint is just these people not searching for him. For what reason? Because if they loved him this much. But I love the writing style of this. I love I don't even know, we don't even have a name for our narrator.
That's fine by me.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean, this character, based on the narrator's like writing, has definitely a sense of
they could be anyone.
Yeah, but there is a personality to it. Like this character
yeah.
clearly has a personality.
Yeah, I dig it. I will give this a certified freshness rating of a rot flecked buck skull.
I will give this a Wendigo out of a no, it's a Wendigo with a gun.
I'm gonna give this a the ketchup bottle is half full.
Radical. Hey, thanks. Thank you, Slimebeast, for sharing this with us. I think is this a first in that we've read plenty of Slimebeast stories on this show before, but this is one that has not been published yet, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know he will if he does. But that being said, thank you for sharing it. Hey, we bumped this one to the top of the list mainly because Slimebeast has been a longtime patron of ours, and I would be remiss if I didn't point out that you can be a patron of Midnight Marinara and Undercooked Analysis if you go to patreon.com/Midnight Marinara and donate at any level. We tend to try and prioritize the stories submissions of our listeners there, but if anybody wants to submit a story at all, you can email us at midnightmarinara@gmail.com, and we will take a look at the story. We'll read it on the show and give you our honest to goodness feedback. Abysmii.
Yes.
My friend, is there anything you'd like to plug?
I'm sure both episodes the first 2 episodes are already out, but go check out the Jameson Tapes, which is the brand new podcast on the Creative Horror Network, hosted by myself and the amazing Alan Cheney. We review movies, mostly horror movies, but just kind of anything we find enticing, and we get very drunk and we talk about them. And Sade is producing and editing and keeps us very much on track, but it's the most fun I've had in a long time. It's just a great listen.
It's a lot of fun to listen to too.
It is I'll say from the first couple episodes, it is a podcast of high highs and low lows.
Literally, the first one is this amazing
Jeez.
undiscovered gem, and the second one's the bye-bye man.
Looking forward to seeing what y'all come up with in the third. But yeah, and Kaela, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Check out Darkly Lit. We just finished up discussing Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. So we've closed that chapter, and now we're I think by the time this comes out, the next episode will be Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khan. So if you want to listen to us say David and I discuss a book of the month, a horror book of the month, a la book club style, yeah, check out Darkly Lit.
Absolutely. And Mitch, be sure to peruse the other fine podcasts on the Creative Horror Network, like The Witching Hour and Midnight Marinara. I've mentioned you can listen to old episodes of Trick or Track, which is also a fun show, in my opinion. And thank you once again for joining us bi-monthly as we do. And they say that if you listen closely, you can still hear the cries of Zach Baggins out in the wood looking for the legendary Wendigun.
Got a wind to get out of there.
He'll send Aaron in first, though.
Aaron, go talk to the Wendigo.
Crack! Oh, could it be that the Wendigo killed Aaron because he was trying to get to me?
I pushed Aaron in front of me so the Wendigo would shoot him first.
Little does he know that I am impervious to bullets. Ah! Oh! I've been shot.
Oh my God.
Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.